Okay, in this video we'll take a look at how to adjust some of the settings in iRacing that will impact the torque of the Fanatec DD1. So I've got my Fanatec set up to output 100%. So on the DD1 that's going to be 20 Newton meters, and I'm going to control all of the actual torque feedback that I get from iRacing through some settings in iRacing. So here I am. I'm in a test session here, and I'm going to go to Options. And you're in the Drive tab. That will come up by default. And you'll notice that I'm using linear mode. Of course, I'm using enabled force feedback, and I've got reduce force when parked checked. The DD1 puts out 20 Newton meters, so wheel force should always be at 20 Newton meters. And max force, this is where we set the maximum force that iRacing asks for that gets mapped to essentially that 20 Newton meters. So it's really a math equation. To reduce the torque that you feel when you're driving the car, you're going to increase max force. So when iRacing asks for 84 Newton meters in this case, that's going to get mapped to 20 Newton meters. So you can imagine as I bring this down, I'm going to feel more and more torque if I bring it down here. So now 38 Newton meters. When iRacing asks for 38 Newton meters, it's going to get mapped to the full force of the wheel. And this will dramatically affect how the steering feels in the car. And every single car is a little bit different. So most of the Porsches that I run, I tend to set this somewhere around 50. And it really just depends on the feel that you're looking for in the car. And you can, if you use custom controls for the car, you can set these for every single car. And every single time you bring up, any given car, whether it might be a GT3 or a GT4 or whatever, they will have different settings for every single car. So you're going to set this to be what you'd like in any given car. Check that, click done, and you're all set. Now, the nice thing to know about is all the settings. Once you check use custom controls for the car, all the settings that you change for any given car will stay with that car. And that's important because sometimes in controls, there'll be certain features, and you'll notice like on this car, you can set the brake bias and the fuel mixture. You can set fuel mixture. I haven't changed it. But let's say, for example, we've got traction control that we can set, but we can't do ABS in this particular car. But in a lot of cars you can. So by being able to assign the different buttons to all the different functions for any given car, that's really nice to be able to do, and you do that by checking use custom controls for car. So to recap, let's do it again. Done. Go to options. Go to max force. This is the only adjustment you need to make. If the feel is feeling too strong, it's overwhelming, bring this up, and that will make the wheel feel much lighter. And you just find this magic feel that that you're looking for, and stick with that number. I actually make notes on this so that I know. Okay, I've kind of got some notes for every given car that I race. But that's all you have to do. Hope that helps.